Hello and welcome back to another OMNIHEROES video. In this video we're just going to go through the unit Carola, specifically by popular request. And the reason for that is because, as you can see, Carola's damage now is up to 562% physical damage to all enemies and applies 2 stacks of reflect reduction on them as well. Basically, Carola has jumped up. I think this was at sort of a 200 to 300%. So she's jumped up by about 200% damage from the most recent update. So from the 2.12 patch, I believe it was. So Carola here, she is on the Glorians team, one of the most free-to-play friendly teams, I would say, within all of the basic synergies. Or within the Valkyrie synergies here. I mean, the only one that's not really free-to-play is Nawi, but there are many ways of obtaining free-to-play Nawi. Carola, I've been able to get up to 15 stars, and with regards to runes, I'm sort of 2 out of 4. What I could do, potentially, is go ahead and buy... so I could go ahead and buy the epic runes for her now. And receives a buff. There's a 33%. So it's interesting. I think specifically you'd need her red runes, and the reason for that is because when an ally receives a buff, there's a 100% chance to double the buff stacks. The problem is with this effect is if it doubled the effect of the buff, the singular buff. So if you had a 100% chance to double the effect of the buff, it would be much more effective, and I think it would put her up to S tier. For me, as it stands at the moment, I think she's a B tier. We'll have to do some testing and find out where she stands currently, but for me, I still think without the red runes, she's sort of B tier. If you have her red runes, I would suggest she's probably like an A tier unit. I don't think she gets up into S tier, honestly. And the reason for that is because there is a limit on how many buffs can be applied. So, for example, when you have no twins out and you've just got Carola by herself, then the buffs would stack up to 5. So you would get a max stack of 5 attack buffs, 5 defense buffs, 5 defense reduction buffs, stuff like that. It would only stack up to that 5 limit unless you have a unit which increases the limit of buffs applied. Then you got to run into that stack limit problem. And even if you do, so the twins, they increase it by 10, I believe, so up to a maximum of 15 buffs. That's to work well with Talinas, but if you increase the number of buffs applied, you're still going to get the same outcome at the end of the round. You know, that effectively you'll still reach that maximum buffs. You'll just get there a bit quicker. And for me, that's not it's not a viable strategy. If she increased the effect of the buff by doubling it, so if say for example a normal attack buff increases by 5%, so you get 5 stacks of that, it's an increase of 25%. If she increased that to per stack, it would be 10%. I think that is how you make her a viable unit, because it increases the level of the buff rather than doubling the stack of the buff, if that makes sense. But sorry, I've digressed already. She is a Shadow Arc. Shadow Arc faction is all about dodge and making sure that your units survive through to the end of the game. Not very well placed in the Glorians build. There's not many Shadow Arcs in Glorians. Specifically, only Carola and Brutus Zethriel. So yeah, it's just Carola who is a Shadow Arc, so it doesn't link up very well at all. And then she's also in the Enchanters. Now the Enchanters, you do have Ariana, who is an enchanter. I don't have Ariana unlocked at 3 stars at the moment. Got to wait till next month for that. But again, there's not many within the particular synergy that will allow Carola to be at her max potential. Now, with regards to her attacks, so Cursed Lotus whirls rapidly and hurls a multitude of blades that deal up to 562 physical damage to all enemies, and applies 2 stacks of reflect reduction. So the reflect reduction will work very well against the Doom's team. Specifically, you don't want to be taking as much reflect damage. So the reflect reduction reduces that and helps you counter that ability. Also works well with Marina on that team, specifically against Dooms, because Glorian's hard counter really is the Dooms team, and primarily because of how high the attack is of the Glorians who are attacking. So under the control of Puppet Strings, Carola instantly moves to where enemies are, dealing up to 225% physical damage, applies 2 stacks of defense reduction. It's respectable. 225% is higher than most of the other ones. Let me just show you an example. So if we go on Nawi, we have a look at Nawi here. She does 250% physical damage on her main, and 100% physical damage. So one of the strongest attackers in the game, and she's only doing 250% physical and 100% physical damage as well. Whereas, runes. So we've got her at 60 runes. I don't have full DPS runes, primarily because I didn't want to invest in this. I could go ahead and see if I can change that here. No, unfortunately I can't change it. Is what it is. But I do have her with the increases on heal rate, just because that's what the epic rune was at the time. Again, I've not got many to change it to, but let's go ahead and switch it out. And let's change this for Bastet's, and then we'll change this one up for Persephone. No, sorry. Change it up for Bastet's as well, just so we've got the full damage here. So we do get the 40% attack increase as well. Don't need to improve them all, and why not go ahead and purify some. Right, so with regards to Carola, those were her attacks. Now, when Carola is attacked, there's a 100% chance to apply 5 stacks of reflect reduction to the attacker. So again, a hard counter to Dooms, and then when Carola is deployed, the limit of reflect rate reduction stacks increased by 5 for all allies as well. So again, we're applying the reflect reduction as much as possible to counter Dooms as much as possible. Again, it's not something that's, for me, it's not something that's super worthwhile. She's a very specific unit. But again, we'll go ahead and have a play with her and just see how much damage she is able to do. So let's go ahead and build a pretty standard team, including Carola. Maybe take out Seraphina, pop in Nawi here, and then what we'll do is we'll put Carola at the front. We will apply our relics, so relatively standard relics. And then we can go ahead and see how much damage Carola is going to be able to output here. I won't take her onto the Shadow Arcs, and I won't take her onto the Enchanters team, just because I don't think she fits in altogether too well on those teams. What we'll do is we'll try a couple of different setups for Glorians and just see how well she performs as well, and whether or not she is doing the damage that she does need to. So we do get the max shield, max HP goes up. Okay, so we get some more shielding from the twins. Max HP goes up again. Now we to trigger, hopefully to remove. Yep, so we're removing the Holy Shield here, so we can get a good look at Carola. Again, Carola is even slower. She's even slower than Talinas. Now, when I first started, 365 million is reasonable damage on this stage, or relatively reasonable damage on this stage. Now, with regards to how effective she is within the team, I still don't think you're running her over the likes of Audrey, over the likes of Gloria, Ariana. I just don't think you're running her. If you've got a copy of her, you don't have a copy of anybody else, she's still a good unit to run on the Glorians team, effectively a filler if you don't have a DD unit. Her attack's going up here, so we're just going to see how much damage that we can get done. So that's Gloria down, unfortunately. Is what it is, you know. We did have the two strikers, but with the synergy, the other synergies that she's got, specifically the other synergies, the Shadow Arcs, and yeah, 433 million isn't the best. Is respectable. See, now he's not doing too much as if she doesn't proc. And Carola here still doing 166 million damage just on a basic attack. Oh, not basic attack, but a secondary ult. So damage looks to have gone way up. So maybe a viable strategy to use specifically against Dooms. So say you're up in the Foggy Coliseum, you're up in Arena, you're up in the World Arena, and say you know for a fact that you're going up against the Dooms team first, it might be worth popping Carola in there because of the defense reduction stacks as well. So we'll see who has done the most damage at the end. So Carola again doing 231 million. It's respectable. It is respectable damage. Now we're doing 121 million there as well. So she's doing more than Nawi. Now this Nawi is, you know, is fully kitted out. She's got the she's got the full runes as well. So let's go ahead and skip this. And let's just see how much damage she did compared with Nawi. Yeah, so Nawi's still outputting more damage than Carola, but Carola's still doing a respectable 1,423 million damage as well. So let's go ahead and see what happens if we do this. Keep these in. Just want to see how much we can build her up. So effectively, we're going to pump up these numbers as much as we possibly can. Let's go ahead, put Carola in the back. We'll put Atrops in the front, Seraphina in the front as well, because I do have her dodge runes in there just to enable the protection and the holy shield stacks that she will get at the start as well. So let's go ahead and see how much damage that we can do with her in this particular setup. Again, I suspect Catherine will do the most. If you do want to pump up a unit's numbers, you want to pump up, you know, if you want to see the sort of the max damage that they can do, this is a good setup. The reason that I've not included different relics like the Death Scythe and Night's Edge after the spear is primarily because I need the survivability. Or maybe not. So let's see. So there you go, 1,000 million attack. So if we pump up her numbers, she's still able to keep up with the other units. Now I have her at 5 stars, and potentially it might be worth it to double the buffs. But as you can see, if we have a look in here, all of our units have 5 stacks except for Atrops. They've got 5 stacks of this attack boost. Now, it stacks up to 5 times by default. Oh, shame. But it stacks up to 5 times by default. So Carola there doing the most damage. Go ahead and have a look. Yeah, so she did, again, about 13 million. Oh, sorry. 1,344 million. So we're seeing reasonably similar numbers. She is outputting a fair chunk of damage. So potentially, her, you know, if you got her runes in there as well, she would be able to help. But the problem is, again, with those runes, they double the number of stacks that you get. They don't increase the limit of stacks that you can obtain. So if she increased the effect of the stack, she would be S tier, 100%. I have no doubt about that. If you increase the value of a stack given, so if you increase the value of the attack stack, then she would be S tier. But she doesn't. She just gives double the stack. And again, she's limited to the mechanics of the game. If they change the mechanics of the game so that there's no stack limit for anything, then Carola then becomes S tier. If they change the buff to increase the value or the percentage value with those runes, Carola becomes S tier. Again, it is all about the stack limit. That's the problem with Carola, unfortunately, which is why she will, for me, she's moved up to A tier now because of the damage that she's just shown on screen. But she will remain there until the game mechanics change, or until you know something needs to change in order for her to, something to do with the game mechanics needs to change in order for her to be, for me to consider her in S tier. So that's my thoughts on Carola. Please do let me know what you think of her. If this guide was helpful, please let me know. If you can like and subscribe, would be really appreciated. Thanks for watching. You have a good day.